What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview. Every single week, I interview top real estate professionals, top entrepreneurs, and straight up top badasses. They're out there dominating their space, choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and make a big, amazing, epic life for themselves, their families, as well as have a big impact on others. And today, guys, got another amazing, epic guest here on the show. This is a good friend of mine, actually a repeat second-time guest. And this is somebody, guys, that's been in the space for a long time. One of the top team leaders in the country, on the planet. Does about $90 million a year in gross volume sales, and is also somebody that's been in this industry for a long time, that's transitioned through all of these different shifts, transitioned from financial crashes to transition very well to what we're seeing as of now of doing this interview with the coronavirus and the adaptations that we're doing with that. So we go really deep in this interview talking about how to adapt the mindset that you must have during these shifts, right? The immediate adjustments to make inside your business, how to go out there and adapt and meet the consumer, aka your buyer and seller clients, where they're at to keep the business moving forward. All right, so real quick, you guys, before we get into this epic, amazing interview with my good friend Veronica Figueroa, I want to make sure that you go check out 41 Tips with joshuasmith.com. If you love these interviews, you guys, these are 41 weeks of in-depth coaching tips personally written by me, things that I've learned throughout my experience, things that I've learned from interviewing our top agent guests, things that have all of these things or things I've implemented in my business and have had huge success from. There's nothing being sold. All of this is 100% free. There's nothing being sold, you guys. It's just great in-depth strategies and tips delivered to your email box every single week. 41 of these for 41 weeks to help you expand and grow your business. So again, that's 41 Tips with joshuasmith.com. All right, you guys, I'm excited for you to check out this interview, and I will see you inside the podcast interview. Boom. All right, welcome to the podcast, Veronica. So stoked and honored to have you here, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be such a great topic, right? You've been on the podcast. This is your second time on the podcast, and somebody that I just admire in our industry. You've done so many amazing things. You continue doing so many amazing things, and you're one of these people that have been through so many different market shifts and transitioned and shifted. And I wanted to bring you back on the podcast just because you always seem to come on top or come out on top, right? Like through the whatever you want to call them, crises, shifts, whether it's economics or like what we're experiencing right now with the coronavirus. But just want to, just go deep into the different things that you're doing to adapt, because I know it'll help our audience, so much with it, man. So, just stoked to dive into this.
Yeah, I mean, today's March 19th, 2020, right? I don't know when this is going to go live, but I will say that we're all facing this pandemic scare together. We're all seeing what's happening in our economy, and it's happening fast. I don't think any of us have been, prepared for this. And I would say I'm grateful to have this opportunity to use this as a platform to share what we're doing. This isn't about who has the most accolades. This isn't about who has the most, I would say the most stats, the best stats in the MLS today. This is about humanity. And I think also how we are going to pivot and adjust in this world of real estate that we know. I think that real estate will still continue. We're just gonna do it differently. And during that transition phase of how we're going to do this is why we have to link arms more than ever. And I'm just excited to maybe share what we're doing today. I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, but I know that today we are preparing, and I want to even maybe share a little screen share. Like, I'm willing to share my listing agreement with anybody who needs to see how we've adapted our listing agreement to share, just some of the tips and little things that we're doing out there. Our virtual everything, virtual open houses. I mean, I know you're the king of open houses. How is that going to look like in the future for us? We're doing virtual live open houses now. Obviously, I'm speaking with our lenders on remote online notarization, but reality is that, the title company might say yes, but the lenders still have to get investor approval. Are you aware of that? So I just want to really just talk about what's going through this brain and the people that we're talking to every day. Not from fear, just more like, what do we got to do to pivot? What do we got to do? We will continue to real estate. We're just going to do it differently.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to just jump in. And, I was never praying for a bubble. I was never praying for a crisis, because I went through one. I've seen people lose their houses. I saw people, lose marriages, go through, depression because of this. Now is the time that we just focus and work together to ensure that we come out stronger, that our industry comes out stronger, and that those who are in this for the long haul stay in it. This isn't a recreational sport, and I've been saying this for far too long. The barrier to entry has been so low, and now this is where you see the leaders rise, the experts rise, those of us who are in this to help create economic impact, to still keep people in jobs, to still help our sellers make the best decisions, the buyers make the most informed decision. I can go on and on about this. You just shut me up when you're ready to shut me up. But as you can see, I'm passionate about this, and I'm just ready. I'm ready to help whoever needs my help, and hopefully be a voice in this platform that I think we're going to come out stronger as an industry for so many reasons, for safety, for making sure that people who are requesting tours are serious about it and are going to honor those professionals who are taking the time and risking their lives and their safety and time away from their family and not knowing if they're going to get paid, to have a little bit more of a screening. I see a lot of things happening at the tail end of this, when we come out of this, that are going to be good. So let's go.
Yeah, love it. So before we get into like the tactical stuff that you're doing, like you said, virtual open houses and so forth, I want to talk to you a little bit about your mindset, because you've got such an amazing mindset, and so many during times like this, especially if you're watching a lot of the media, right? They get worried, they get into a paralyzation mode, and I get it, and it's very difficult to stay clear-minded, right? To think critically, to be able to pivot if you don't first take care of your mind with this. So can you kind of talk to us about and share with us what you do from a mental standpoint to stay fresh, where then you can get into critical thinking, where then you can get into problem solving mode like you've proven to do so well through all of these transitions that you've been through?
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up, because I think mental health is is key right now. I just recently did a post about how this is something that we don't talk enough about, but not taking it to the extreme of mental health, but just getting our mindset ready every day. I was having a conversation with myself, and I said, okay, I can't control what's happening. I can't control the feelings of uncertainty, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty. But what I can control is how I approach the situation. Can I control still working out? Can I control still finding time for me, especially because we're all in the house together? Time to get, to really meditate, manifest, stay positive. That's the only thing I can control. That's the only thing I can control right now. And I think that with what we're experiencing every single day, that's the one thing my family and I have made a promise to each other. And the same thing with our agents. We just started a Slack channel on our team of, hey, listen, mindset check-in. What did you do today that was healthy for your mindset? Did you go for a walk? Did you call your mom to check in on them? How many people were you able to just ask how they're doing, and how are you doing? So meditation, journaling, whatever works for them. I like to work outside just because I love the water. I love nature. A lot of people are like, oh, show me your badass office. Well, I would always go to the office. So I chose to never have an office at home. We have a desk and all that, but it's like, I don't work from home other than when I'm, in situations like this. And I found the cutest little spot in my house that gives me a little bit of nature, gives me a little bit of shelter, and I hear the water flowing. So, I think that there's no right or wrong way to take care of your mind during this time. You just have to do it. Whatever works for you. If it's prayer, if it's meditation, if it's going for a walk, it's going to be so necessary during these times. And just staying positive. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see, dear coronavirus, thank you for, from a gratitude standpoint, for uniting my family more than ever, and us coming together to say, we're going to get through this together, and how we can help others. Our world was I would say, living in this facade. We were talking about social distancing, but how many of us were already antisocial? We were paying attention to our phones. We weren't playing family games. We weren't having real conversations. It's interesting to see how people are going to be shifting now. And I think it's a good thing. Obviously not to the detriment of our country or our world. But it is nice to know that families are coming together and working a little bit better together, and that we can work on our mindset a little bit more.
Yep. Absolutely love it. So powerful. And then, what would you say? Because a lot of people feel, and this is still, I guess, amongst the mindset topic, but a lot of people are feeling guilty right now, right? Like, hey, man, I shouldn't be trying to grow my business or help clients that are still wanting to buy or sell during these times. There's some guilt that some people have, like, what do you kind of do? What's your approach with that or your philosophy on that? Because at the same point, like, we have to still take care of ourselves and our families on a financial level too. Plus, we still have clients that still have goals that need to be met.
Yeah, I shared that with you earlier. I had someone send a message to us and they said, hey, you guys were referred to us. We're ready to go, VA approved. And, I know this might not seem like the right time, but I want to get the process started. He says, I kind of feel bad. And we had to remind them that we're here to meet you where you're at. Yes, we have buyers that are uncertain that are going to cancel. Yes, we have sellers who are going to put things on hold, but we also have sellers and buyers that are saying, hey, I still need to sell, or I still want to buy this home. Let's say that they have a job, that they were used to working from home, and that their employment is still strong. They feel confident. They should not feel guilty about being able to do the next best thing for their family, for their life. And we have to get used to this new normal of adapting to what may happen when this is all said and done. And I've said to my agents, we don't want to come across as a salesy, cheesy, skeptical person that seems grimy. You want to be who you are, which is authentic, caring, and always meeting our clients where they're at. And if you are checking in on people, it comes from a human side of things of like, how are you doing? We have a lot of clients that are asking us a lot of questions, and I just want to be here for you. Conversations of, hey, is it still a good time to sell? Hey, is it still a good time to buy? Are still happening. We just put up 10 contracts in the last 72 hours. So of course we feel guilty. Yeah, we're not going out there and be like, oh my God, the market's still hot. Right now we want to be sensitive and we don't want to come across insensitive. But reality is, more than ever, people are trusting us as their experts. And I don't think we should feel guilty about that. I don't think you should feel guilty if you still have a job. I think you just need to do the next right thing for people maybe who are less fortunate, and maybe help educate those or help people find some sort of peace during this scary time. But I think if we all put our head in the sand and we just give up, what are we doing this for? We have to stay more, I would say, more focused than ever, more willing to help those less fortunate than us than ever. But leaders need to rise. We have to give people a sense of confidence, and that somehow, some way, we will be able to weather this storm.
Yeah, love it. Getting goosebumps listening to you. Even though I got a hoodie on here in Phoenix, Arizona. Love it. Such powerful stuff. And then, so then when it comes to the things that you guys are adapting to, right? Because you're taking the time to listen to your clients, listen to the consumer about their fears that they have right now, and the problems at hand, right? And a crisis like this is really twofold. You've got people that are afraid, with the financial blowback of this, and then you have obviously people that are afraid of the exposure to the virus itself, right? And I know you kind of led the beginning of the podcast with this, but I'm really excited to hear about the things that you're doing. But before we get into that, again, because when the next coronavirus comes up, and I'm not saying like a second version of this, but the next crisis, right? Because the problem solving mode that your mind goes into is, I'm sure, the same regardless of what labels in front of the crisis that's taking place, right? But can you walk us through like what your kind of critical thinking is when you're going into problem solving mode of, hey, how do we identify what their fears and problems are? And then how do we pivot to meet them where they're at, as you said before?
Yeah, I think every conversation is going to be different. You've got the person, I live in Orlando, Florida. They've already laid off people at Disney. Disney is closed down. We are a mecca for tourism. So that conversation is going to be different than the person on Wall Street that's, looking at their stock market. These people's conversation may be, how am I going to feed my family? And I just think there's not going to be a right or wrong way to, be there for people. Well, you got to be sensitive to their situation. I was talking to someone and they mentioned a coach who was saying, let me give you the best objection handlers for those buyers who don't want to buy during the coronavirus. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't fuck with that shit. I'll tell you why. Because we're in a crisis of humanitarian, are we being better human beings? I need to focus on, look, if right now is not a good time for you, like if I hear anybody who's hiring, we'll make sure we let them know and I'll send you the link. As a leader, my critical thinking is, how am I going to sustain my team over the next 6 to 9 months? Because this isn't about being locked down for 2 weeks. This is about the trickle effect that this will have within the next 6, 9 months to a year, years to get over this. But like, I'm thinking in increments of, okay, it's not about me. It's about all the people that I lead. What are the conversations they're having? How are we checking in on the clients that they're having these conversations with, and it's still so new. I don't know what I'll be thinking tomorrow. I know I have a phone. I have the blessing of being able to phone a friend. I've got so many people in my corner that I can call, like, Lori Reeder, Jay Kinder, Anthony Lamacchia, yourself. I mean, so many amazing leaders that I can hear what's happening in their, state or counties and what's going on. And I think every day we're just thinking differently. Right now, from a business owner standpoint, cut all unnecessary expenses. Unnecessary expenses, you got to look at your P&L and you've got to reduce that spending instantly by 25 to 30% as quickly as you can. And this is just me being raw and open and vulnerable. The agent who's only in business for themselves is probably thinking differently than I am. But I also think that they can apply that to their business. Right now is not the time to worry about like, oh, I don't want to look like I wasn't able to sustain it during the downfall. You have to do what's right for your business and your family right now. And the way I just had my meeting with my director of ops this morning, my VP of ops, I was like, okay, what do we have to look at? What expenses are unnecessary? What are the things that we can put on hold, deferment, etc., so that we as a company can be strong a year from today, not necessarily just tomorrow. And those are, that's some vulnerable shit that we're talking about. Like, we have to look at it. I have 15 staff members, 52 people who rely on me on my team. And then I also have partners across the country who run businesses and trust me. And the conversation is, how am I also leading them? And giving them the framework to not be embarrassed to say, okay, from a business perspective, these are some of the emails you should be sending. This is who you should be referring to. What are you spending money on? Let's look at your statement. Let's circle the wagons and really go line by line and say, is this necessary? Is this necessary? Is this necessary? Because it's a reality.
Yeah, so powerful. I was actually just speaking with one of my mentors last night. Now, this guy just exited from his company recently for $792 million. Right? So the dude's, he's got a lot of money, right? But he's saying the same thing, right? But also, personally, business, and he's applying it. He's like, my son, his son's 11, came up and he's like, Dad, can I have $25? And he goes, no, son, like, we got to practice. This is a time of restriction, so we can save our money to invest. And he's like, of course I have the $25, but I had to teach my son that lesson of restriction, right? So as he enters the marketplace. But even when you hear guys like that are preparing and restricting, eliminating the waste, focusing only on things that can track an ROI to it, and dude, it's this smart play for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I think that everybody's going to come out with that like, we're going to make this. And so am I. I'm a very positive person, but when it comes to business, we're going to have to make some difficult decisions. And again, always trying to stay optimistic. And this isn't about like, oh my gosh, she's this little girl, she is always spending. I knew that they wouldn't be able to sustain. No. That has nothing to do with it. This is about, where are you spending your marketing dollars? What are the companies that maybe aren't lifers, that you were just testing things to see if it works? Things such as, things that you forgot you were paying for, things that were just services that were just luxuries. At this point, we have to be lean for the people that we care about. and be responsible. And this is business, guys. This is business. Um, you know, I don't think we need to deny that it's something that we should definitely be paying close attention to. John Cheplak is my coach, and he had a call with us the other day, and he said, guys, this is your homework assignment. We're going to come out on top, but we're going to look at those P&Ls closer than ever. And that Amex bill, looking at it every single, like what's on there that wasn't a necessary bill, because we have to be socially responsible and fiscally responsible for our teams and the people that trust us.
Yep. Love it. It's Warren Buffett's famous quote of, when the tide goes out, you see you skinny dipping, right? But then in our businesses and our personal lives, we all have areas where we're, skinny dipping as well, if you will, in an expense standpoint. And, even if you continue kicking ass and don't have any stalls in your business during this time, it's still just responsible business, right? And the most successful human beings that I know are also the most frugal. It's like, if it doesn't save me time and it doesn't make me money, it gets the cut, and they're going through their P&Ls monthly like a surgeon with the scalpel, just cut.
Pump it and dump it. Pump it and dump it.
Yeah, love it. And then as far as, the other things that you were talking about, right, when it comes to, meeting the customer where they're at, but also, having that compassion, empathy for their concerns. I know you talked about virtual open houses and these other things. I mean, how did you, I don't know if this was just your connections, but how are you knowing, I guess, or pivoting? You said that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but this is what we're doing today. But even those things to transition into, I'm curious, like with the virtual open house, just as an example, because this has only taken place. It was just 5 days ago, right, when the president kind of shut everything down. But you pivoted fast, right? How do you know what to pivot on, or how do you pay attention to know what to move on with these things?
I don't know if I just have this little intuition within me that says, okay, you really need to start taking action. I have a lot of responsibility, a lot of people who trust me, so I feel like it's my responsibility. But I'm just listening. I'm listening to what's being said. I'm listening to what people are doing, people's concerns, and we're delivering options. We're delivering options. What works best for you? Is there a preferred method? I want you to know that we offer virtual everything: virtual showings, virtual buyer consultations, virtual listing appointments. More than ever, your safety is important. Our safety is important. And for those of you who want to continue this process, we have implemented, the options and the solutions for you to still continue this process. And people have been so grateful. They're like, oh my God, really? That's so awesome. But, we're in Orlando, we get a lot of outside, we get foreigners, we get people from Canada, we get people from the UK, South America, who want to buy from us. So doing a virtual showing has always been something we were used to doing. Virtual listing appointments with absentee owners, we've done that before too. So I feel like now it just becomes a norm. And now we ask people, real estate agents, we tend to tell people what we think they should be doing. We don't ask what works best for them. We don't lean in from well, do you have a preferred method, or what would work best for you? It's more like, well, when are you going to come down, and when do you want to see the home? Well, maybe seeing the home doesn't have to be in person. So we've been adapting to that for many, many years. I think now more than ever, we just now have to make it a way of doing business, just like the iBuyers, right? People are like, oh, that's a stupid option. People shouldn't, leave money on the table. Well, you don't know what's important to that person, if maximum profit or maximum convenience. So I just feel like we as real estate professionals in the past have done a really good job of talking too much and not listening enough and not asking the right questions. So we now have an opportunity to adapt to what works for not only this pandemic, but what is convenient for the person on the other side. And a lot of people still are even asking us, can they see the house? So that's why I'm saying we're not set in stone all virtual. It's based on our clients' needs. We have 7 showings happening today. Obviously, our agents, and I want to show you this. Can I share my screen?
Yep.
So I'll share my screen just with, sorry, I don't know if you could see this, but.
All right, so there it is, just popped up.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can minimize this so you guys aren't seeing all my goods. But like our agents were showing houses today and super proud, and they even took selfies of during these times. It's important to be safe. Clean Home Initiative, and they're doing their part of being proactive. They're doing their part of like saying, "Hey, we're here. We're excited." That's just a little something. Same thing on our listing agreement. That's why I said I don't mind sharing for it. When we go to our listing agreement, we ask them, what's most important to you? Convenience, exposure, or maximum price? And then we know how to shift the conversation. And I don't know if that helps, but it's just more to let you know like what we're doing, right? What we're doing to prepare and continuously navigate through this journey. There's no right or wrong. We're on this journey together.
Yep, love it. So that clean home initiative, that's pretty. That is a dope flyer, right? Is that something that you're like taping to the front door of the home, or when they enter the home, that's being posted?
So not only is it something that we're doing, that's for our agents. And let me just share the screen again. Hold on one second. That's for our agents. I don't know if you could see that.
Okay. Yep. I can see this now. Yep.
So this is our agents, how we're training them internally to say, hey guys, if you are going to go show a house, we require you to participate in this Clean Home Initiative movement. If not, you're not showing homes. And on top of that, our listings obviously will now have this as well. But as we adapt, these are the things that we're saying, like, this is the new norm for us. And I'd be happy to send this over to you. And everything else that we're doing. I mean, there's other things that we're doing that I'd be happy to share with you, which again, it's not about being insensitive. It's about the things that we're doing today. I'll share this one too. We even have a flyer as to why is Zillow great, why, can you see that or no?
Yep.
Why it's great. And now more than ever, why, going traditional might not be the best option for you right now. And again, I'd be happy to share all of this with you and anyone who's watching.
Yeah, what we can do for anybody that's watching, listen, by the time we get this, by the time you're watching, listen to this, we'll just have links below wherever you're at that you can go view these and have that for you. So, yeah, love that. And that's a huge help, Veronica. Truly appreciate you providing all that to us, man. It's a huge help. So then, I'm guessing the virtual listing appointments, virtual buyer consultations are just in a Zoom meeting like this where you can screen share, you can, cause it's like, look, like you and I, we haven't hung out in person, right? But we've been on these Zoom calls and like, I've connected with you. I consider you a good friend. I know you, right? We're like, it's a next best thing from being face to face. We can do anything and accomplish anything. One of my companies is 2,000 miles away from where I live that I run and lead, and, meeting with my team virtually, like there's nothing that we can't do, with that. And then I'm guessing the virtual showings are just, hey, I'm going to go up and show the property and I'll just put them on FaceTime or whatever, and do a walkthrough with that. And I'm saying these are assumptions. So if I'm wrong in the way that
you're right.
But then I am curious on the virtual open house, because I haven't done these yet. And you're the first one that I've talked to that's, I've heard of agents doing them, but you're the first, mega producer that also I truly trust and know anything that you're doing, like you're doing it right and doing it to the top level. So would love for you to walk us through, like, what does that look like? I mean, can you go a little bit deeper in that?
Yeah, I was just on a call this morning on how we're preparing for all of the virtual everything, right? Including the virtual open houses. We have just finished the initiative of, if you're going to do a virtual open house, how are we going to make sure the audience is engaged, is feeling enthusiasm, is entertained a little, not just a boring walkthrough of the house. So we're actually putting together a guide for our agents because this will be the real first weekend that we do a virtual open house. But this is what we believe is going to be the norm for the next few. And usually we're doing it, obviously, if we're reaching out to our sellers who feel comfortable. But these are going to be mainly on our vacant properties for now. just because of people's safety, and just letting them know, like, we don't want anyone walking in. This is just us going live and showing you all the amazing highlights of the property, just answering questions for people while they're live, trying to gather an audience, sanitizing, obviously making sure you have all the information, not rushing through this interactive online experience, posting it still, on third parties. So this way you can, get people, drive people to that traffic. We have to be in compliance with the MLS, obviously, but we believe that this is something maybe MLS is in the future going to adopt, where they allow us to post a link to this virtual open house. We don't know what this is going to turn out to be like, but we're already having these conversations. I'll post the link. I'll give you the link of what what they shared with us today. And that's a mastermind group that we have, just sharing the best tips. Suzanne out there in Riverside was the one who is coaching us on this, and it's amazing. It's what she does for a lot of foreign clients. So why can't we do it in today's market? It's just enthusiasm, being prepared, really coming from a sense of, giving information and just saying, hey guys, if selling real estate is going to continue and this is the new normal, we're going to do so and still give you access to the property and show the property and, provide links so that you can come to our virtual open house and ask live questions. If not, this video will continue beyond just the live, which John Cheplack always shares with us. Your video live is most valuable after the video lives. Right. So I think live open houses are going to live beyond just the live open house.
What do you think not just think, because you're in communication, with top agents that, as you mentioned, that are out doing this and have an effect with this, but what's the benefit of doing that versus just like a total kick-ass professional video of a home?
We've talked about that, and I think that it's going to be a matter of us doing both. I think we're going to do both. If the sellers feel comfortable with us having someone do a professional video, that'll be part of our pre-listing and our efforts to get it the most marketing. But I think people want to see the real condition of the home. I think as this continues to evolve, there's going to be it looks so good on the pictures, or it looks so good in the video. But when you walk it and you feel, it's like, that was a really great angle. I think it's going to give people a sense of what it looked like before to what it looks like now. And again, this is a journey. We're all on this journey together. This may be a complete flop, but we're just trying to figure out what are the ways that we can stay in the now and meeting people where they're at.
Yep. Love it. So then, I know sometimes the words that we choose can come off as insensitive, like the top objections to get buyers to still move forward during this, during the coronavirus crisis or whatever it may be, but objections are somewhat of just a lack of education. And, like you have your, like you showed your Zillow, like the pros of Zillow and maybe the cons of traditional, right. And at the end of the day, it's providing the consumer or potential clients with all the information that they need to make their best decision. And we're there to support them with that, but with this, when you are because I'm going to lead into asking you of the objection overcoming, if you will, which is just, if we think of it, not objection overcoming, it's just education, right. Of if you do have somebody saying, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing an open house this weekend or having my home on the market at this time, right. Because you want to be able to still present solutions that may ease their comfort level, right, because they still might have a need to sell, to relocating or whatever it may be. So how do those conversations are you handling those conversations, but obviously in the delicate manner that you want to do at this time?
Yeah, well, obviously this is still so new to us. We just got an addendum today from our state broker on, how to add the coronavirus addendum to all contracts. We're still trying to get educated on that. Every day things are evolving. We're learning new things. The conversations we've had in the last week and a half, again, are a mix of conversations. It's the sellers who say, I still want to get my house on the market, and we're still putting properties on the market. The open house conversations have not been many conversations of, when are you going to do an open house on my house? It hasn't been sellers pressuring us. It's been like, hey, what do you think we should do to market the property with everything that's going on? And it's been really just really flowing conversations, fluid conversations of like, well, because we don't know what's going to happen, we're just all taking precautions, making sure that, we don't have anyone coming through your home if you don't feel comfortable. Obviously, our occupied properties are different than our vacant properties. Our vacant properties, a lot of times people think that there's no risk, but what if you have 50 people coming in at a time? So I've seen conversations where they're like one person at a time. I don't know the answer. I don't know what those conversations are going to look like. I could just simply say to you what I would probably say when someone calls me. We haven't faced too many because, again, this is day number 3 of being quarantined or, being told to stay in. I would assume that, the conversations are saying, hey, you know what? We're all going through this. We're all adapting. And what we have found is a solution. If your property is vacant, we can do, a really, really awesome video to showcase what your property looks like. In addition, because right now maybe photographers or videographers don't want to go out there and do professional videos. Live may be the best and only solution right now. But ultimately, we want to keep our agents safe. And most sellers, the ones we've spoken to, have been okay with the recommendations we're making. Just like buyers have been okay with the recommendations we're making because they trust us. So again, I don't know what tomorrow's conversations are going to look like. I wish I had the answer. I think I'd ask you what that conversation should sound like.
Yeah. It's, none of us have a crystal ball, which I hate speculation anyway, right? Like speculation I found just wasted time, right? It's just focusing on the obstacle on hand. And I mean, entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and we've got to understand that. And we've got to know that, and we've got to go out there and solve problems at the highest possible level. Because at the end of the day, entrepreneurs are really the only ones that have ever solved any problem of significance and will be of that, so yeah. We're just handling it the same way that you are. We haven't instituted the virtual open houses. Our transition conversation is, what I learned from my mentor, Darren Hardy, which is the feel, felt, found lead approach. So it's always leading with the feel and felt. So that's empathy and compassion. Hey, 100, like maybe it's a seller that wants to hold off on listing their home right now. Hey, I 100% understand how you feel. I have so many sellers that are in the same boat right now that felt exactly how you are currently feeling. However, we've been able to develop some solutions that have created some ways for them to still be able to accomplish their real estate goals this time. And here's what they've found, right? So then that goes into education mode. But then right there, we do pause. And it's just letting people know, because you want to stress the comfortability, whether it's a crisis like this or not. But it's just, hey, I just want to share this with you, to share some new information, just so you have it. Right? At the end of the day, I'm here to serve and support you at the highest possible level, whatever you feel is best for you and your family. And we have a very strict absolute no pressure policy inside of our organization. If you push pressure, do anything that you don't want to do. Just want to share this information just to share it so you have it. Right? So then getting into, because we know the economic crisis, our economic concern, where we can talk about the Fed's, the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates to 0, which means lowest interest rates in recorded history. So buyers are out like crazy right now buying and trying to take advantage of that. Right? So we know there's buyers out there. There's less inventory because you have a lot of other sellers in panic mode. They're taking their home off, so they have less competition. So we're able to deliver education that shows them that on an economic standpoint, right now is probably even better of a time to keep your home listed than it was 2 weeks ago, right? And then we manage the virus portion, right? The exposure, which is, hey, every buyer that's interested in your property, before they can look at it, we'll make sure to get a pre-qualification up front, vet them. Then we'll do a virtual showing with them and their agent first. So I'll be the one in doing a FaceTime tour. So then if they want to see it after that fact, we know that they're about as hot of a buyer as it can possibly get. Now, I'll meet them here 20 minutes before, make sure everything's disinfected in the home, make sure, whatever, provide gloves, booties, and all the things that you're doing to minimize that. But then again, it's just, hey, I just wanted to provide this because my job is to really be your guide through this process and helping you facilitate real estate goals. So I want to provide you all the information that you need to make the best decision for yourself and for your family. Just moving it forward, right? Just
absolutely.
That you said too.
Absolutely. And I think, just because this is such a sensitive situation, we're going to learn so much about the process a little bit more as the days continue to progress. And I guess I would say it's this type of platform that I'm so grateful for, to learn from you and to just share, you know, share what we're going through, because we're boots on the ground too, just like your team is boots on the ground. Like every day we're learning more and more about this, but we're staying positive and we're meeting people where they're at, and we're trying to understand what they're thinking, and, you know, really just being there for them. And like you said, there are still buyers right now who are out there excited to buy. There are still sellers who need to sell. Maybe they already had a second home, and, you know, they need to sell that property that you know, they had already started building, and their new build is ready to go and they're ready to close. There's a lot of different reasons why people are still going to buy, sell, and we want to be the ones to be there to guide them every step of the way. And I just think that it's now more than ever our duty to become better experts and to be there for them, no matter, you know, no matter what the reason is that they need to buy or sell. We need to be there for them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, something that you said earlier, I think it's so important of just keeping everybody in the right, going back to the mindset, keeping people positive. Because at the height of this crisis, pandemic, whatever we want to label it, I mean, who knows what the height will eventually be, but we're at the height of it right now. And during the height of it, in the last 72 hours, how many homes did you say you put under contract?
10
homes under contract, you know, right? I mean, which is absolutely insane. So, you know, I hope that those who are watching, listening to this are just really paying attention and not going into shutdown, fear, paralyzation mode, you know, right? Because if you shift just like Veronica has, and you adapt and you meet the consumer where they are and you provide viable solutions, you know, right? This can be, I hate to look at this as an opportunity to take advantage of, you know, right? But the reality of the matter is there's going to be more competition of our competition than not taking action right now, you know, right? And then if we look at any time in history, there's more millionaires and billionaires made in down markets.
Yeah. Yeah, it is true. And this is going to go like this, right? But then it is going to have, I mean, we're going to have an opportunity to rise. And a lot of money is going to be made.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Powerful stuff.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing I love that you said earlier that I just want to kind of bring up, because I think it's so powerful. And I see this coming out with every leader and extremely successful person that I'm talking to in real estate and out of real estate, of them really doubling down on their self-development right now. You know, working on the back end of the business. I mean, just being smart with business, but also doubling down. You know, you talked about your meditation. Yeah, right. Like I've doubled down on my meditation as well, you know, right. And all my mentors have as well. So we can keep that clear mind and self-care. And I think that that's so important, man, of taking advantage of the mentors, the people that you have in your life, and really being serious and intentional with your self-development at this time.
Yeah. You know, and I think also from a business standpoint, you know, we're looking at everything that we're doing, and we said this in the most loving way possible. Right now, there's no room for us, for anyone on our bus that's not an A player, you know. And if the people who are, you know, a part of our world, you know, are B players or anything less than an A player, you know, we're really assessing everything, because we only want to work right now with the best heart, you know, the good people, the people who care about also people doing the right thing always, and in business. And I'm not saying that people don't, like, that we have anyone on our bus that's not that, but times like this expose people. It's times like this you'll see, you know, who's in it for the long haul. And this is, I guess, maybe to you team leaders and broker owners, right? It's important for you to know that don't feel bad when you have to make business decisions as well. Because I talk a lot about the heart and loving on people, but at the end of the day, you know, you can't feel bad for making decisions that are going to, you know, keep your business alive. And the conversations we've been having is like, everybody has to be playing like an A player right now.
Yep. Yeah, you can't, as a team leader, you can't just triple your work efforts and not have you can't carry the organization on your shoulders. And one of my favorite John C. Maxwell quotes is, and this was a commitment that he made on early in his career, was I would rather lead than be loved. right? But because he drew that hard line in the sand, look how many millions and millions and millions absolutely adore and love him, and that he's had a big impact on because he chose to be that leader. And sometimes it's like Steve Jobs quote of you know, if you want to please everybody, go sell ice cream, you know, right? Like sometimes you got to make those hard decisions. 100% love it.
Yeah, I just think that that's important for anyone who's listening. And we talked about that, you and I, earlier on, you know, cutting expenses and doing the things that need to be done in business. But like, I'm just a phone call away if anybody ever needs to call me and ask questions. I don't have all the answers, but you know, I know that we need to stay closer than ever, and help each other and support each other during these times.
Yeah, 100%. Can agree more. And for individual agents, you know, that applies as well with your vendor partners and, you know, even your own brokerage owner, man. If everybody's not being proactive and rowing in the same direction, you know, right? Like, have that awareness. It might be time for some shifts and transitions. And so, Veronica, for those that are watching and listening, if they want to follow you more, see what you're doing, if they want to get in touch with you, you know, have questions, as you mentioned, that they can reach out, like, where's the best place or places to do that at?
If they go to veronicainspires.com, they can access all my information. They can hop on my Calendly, they can call me, they can text me, they can see videos, they can download things, they can hit me up on Facebook, IG, you name it. It's the one spot you can go to and access all of me. veronicainspires.com.
All right. Love it. And those that are watching, listening, wherever you're at, we'll have a link right below to make it super easy on you guys. Highly recommend to click on that link and make sure that you're following Veronica, man. I've been following her and been blessed to become friends with her now, and I'm always learning from her. So make sure to take action on that. And I know we end every podcast with this, but information without implementation is just the start of delusion. Information isn't power. It's taking that information, taking immediate action on it and massive action on it. That gives you the power to create the life that you know you want and deserve. And you guys, Veronica shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you today. So don't waste it. Take action on what you just learned. And again, go out there and create the life that you know you want and deserve. And Veronica, I know how busy you are right now, especially during these times. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here. This has been a lot of fun and a massive honor, my friend.
Love ya. Thanks.
Yep. Love you too. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Peace.